Well, a very good evening, everybody. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, ZMH 286, Patricia and David. And the reason I'm chuckling is we've had yet another torrid day here, lightning, thunder, and torrential rain. How about that? Why not come to New Zealand for summer? 40 millimetres we've had. I mean, this time last year, the dams around the Auckland area were about a third full. Everyone was being coerced into taking showers once every 2 days and cleaning their teeth very carefully and all that sort of thing. And today, this year, we have got water pouring down the street. Anyway, it's 19 degrees, so not too much to complain about. The barometer is 1003.9 and dropping. And we still only have about 5 to 10 knots of wind here. The poor old, I don't know what sort of boats were out there in the harbour, tiny boats, but they were enveloped in rain. You couldn't hardly see them before. But they haven't had an awful lot of wind, whereas up north in the Opua and Whangarei areas, Brett, you will have, if you've been listening to your forecasts on the single sideband, for those boats that are approaching New Zealand, you would have found still 20-25 knots of wind. But anyway, not down here. So, all right, we have got not too much news from here. All the boats have finally left Minerva. Pogean and Holiday, two US catamarans, were hanging out there, probably gorging themselves on the crayfish, the last of what they will, unless they catch it themselves here, for the season. But they have left and are on their way. But they will never catch Artia at this rate. So let's start with, who did we start with yesterday? I think we'll start with Moonfish today. On frequency, Sasha, over.
Good evening, and I'll give you our position first, over.
Roger, go ahead.
Okay, we have 2355 south, 17625 east, about 165 degrees true, and about 5 knots westerly, but with southwest, southwest 5 knots, and we're going about 5 knots at the moment. Wanting to know what kind of weather we can expect over the night. We should have 20 knots westerly today for a short while. Over.
Yeah, I was wondering how you managed to, you must have made good use of that 20 knots of westerly, brief though it was probably. Moonfish, 2355 south, 17625 east, 155 true at 5 knots with 5 knots of southwesterly. Well, we'll see what the man has got to say here. He was just complaining that the weather didn't seem to do what the model said that they were going to do today. So we'll see what he comes up with and how accurate it might be. We probably should score him each day to see whether his predictions are accurate or not. Anyway, here's the weather for Moonfish.
No scoring on Sunday. This is whiskey night. So you're just going to have to pay attention very carefully. I'm actually looking at satellite imagery, which is actually my greatest interest in the Southwest Pacific. But according to what I'm looking at, you are just past the axis of the trough that we've been talking about. Boy, it's got some really, really high thunder bumpers just to your east, northeast, and you're past that, so that's good. The winds tomorrow, now that you've passed it, are going to be really strange. I say strange because what's happening is just to your southwest, there is a very small high that's developing, and it's rotating counterclockwise, as highs do, and you are right on the edge of that. So I'm looking at 6 to 10 knots, roughly 6 to 10 knots.
What direction?
And the direction is going to be probably about southeast, from what I could see, from where I'm moving you a little bit. So that is sort of what I see. You're still going to be at the edge of the cloud band, so if you happen to be underneath some of these large cumulonimbus clouds, or just cumulus congestus clouds. You'll have higher gusts. But apart from that, the winds in the mean are not going to be that great. It's going to be fairly light, apart from moments of adventure. So that's the story for tomorrow. But don't complain, because it could be a whole lot worse. Over.
Thank you very much. Very good to know. Over.
Yep, it could be. There's nothing dramatic. So yes, you'll just have to have another peaceful day, Sasha. So enjoy it, and we will talk to you again tomorrow. Okay, we'll clear with Moonfish, and that was weather for progressing south from about 24 south and 176. So let's go now to, let's see, we'll go to Seeker. Seeker, Peter, are you on frequency? Oh yeah, lovely copy again, Peter. Go ahead. Very good copy tonight. Fortunately, the electrical storm finished about an hour ago, so we've got it quite calm here tonight. Go ahead.
Really seem to be carrying much wind at all. Fair bit of rain in the big one that we went through. Let's see, we're steering a course right now of, our course up the ground is 212 true. Our boat speed has been about 6.5 to 7 knots. Off and on motor sailing and a little bit of sailing. We did have a good wind fill in.
This is latitude.
Northwest for a while, and then it's dropped off.
25.
25.
At about maybe 8.5 knots. It was all over the place.
25?
A little bit
Yep.
south,
You sure?
a little bit
Definitely.
west, and but the northwest seemed to fill in most of the afternoon, and all is very well aboard.
Boy, you've got a bit of everything today by the sound of it. Our Seeker is now at 2507 south and 17813 east. Shared our electrical activity in the afternoon. Quite spectacular, really, isn't it? We actually got caught. We stopped at shops on the way home, and unfortunately I got stuck behind a slow person at a checkout at the supermarket, and sure enough, the clouds opened when I tried to get back to David in the car. Anyway, back to Seeker, 212 true course, 6.5 to 7 knots. Motor sailing on and off, and it's sort of a bit variable all around the show, but
Cloud
about
cover.
8 knots of northwest wind. And David, of course, wants to know the cloud cover to work out exactly where this system is. What is the cloud cover, Peter? Over.
Currently, we have about 100% cloud cover and have most of the day, although we're in quite a bit of a hole and have been the last few hours with really no small activity. I think we see one on the radar about 8 or 10 miles out now, but it looked to me on the group file that I downloaded just a little bit ago that I think it's dissipating. It looks like overnight and into the morning. Is that correct?
Yeah, Peter, that's correct as far as what I could see as well. However, I'm looking at satellite imagery, which is not grid files, so this is the real thing. And from what I could see, you are just past the axis of the active trough, just past it, which is good news. And yes, it looks like tomorrow it will have moved to the east. It really doesn't want to move. It's quite amazing. I had thought that it would move a little bit quicker than what it has been doing, but the upper levels are not moving like I thought they were going to do. They're just sort of staying there. And the jet stream, the streak that we talked about a few days ago, which is where it draws all the air up and creates these big clouds and thunder bumpers and whatnot, that's still around. But it does look, model-wise, like you will have basically clear skies tomorrow. And this, high that I'm talking about has developed around 27 south and about 175 east. And that seems to be in agreement with most of the models that I'm looking at. So that means that your winds tomorrow are going to be quite possibly out of the southeast, but light, very, very light, because you're very near the center of this budding high that has shown up. So, and this is what I was talking about a few days ago, that the models are not handling the atmosphere very well the last month, really, but certainly the last week or two. And that's what we're looking at. So very light air, and you're probably going to have to motor sail or motor, or else just read a book and relax. Not much there, but that's good though. I mean, you do not want to be under one of these big thunder bumpers with the lightning and so forth that we've had, and we have had some spectacular lightning crashes here. And anyway, apart from that, so there you go. I'll be anxious actually to talk to you tomorrow to get your actual conditions. And as I mentioned to Moonfish, I really rely on satellite imagery to tell me what's happening. And the best thing apart from that is your conditions, your actual conditions, and that puts the stamp of approval on what's really going on. So anyway, have a good evening, and we'll talk tomorrow night, hopefully. Over.
Thanks for that, Dan. Tomorrow motor sailing, and we'll probably just keep heading in that southwest southerly direction towards Oakville, and it does look like we'll have a good strong winds on the final couple of days on our way into Oakville. Will be Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday. Well, we won't get in there till Thursday sometime. Over.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, Peter. On Tuesday, we've got a frontal band that's coming over New Zealand. And we could have predicted that because that's the day we haul out to get our bottom washed on Chameleon, not our bottom, the boat's bottom. And yeah, pretty aggressive, but that's the story. And the winds, if you're near that area, are going to be in the neighborhood of 23, 24 knots, gusting 30 or more, which will be exciting to get out of our bloody dock and back in again. But that's Tuesday, and if you arrive, say, in the Wednesday time frame, you actually are in luck with regard to that, because that front is actually moving fairly fast, and it will be well off to the east. So you're going to be faced with basically westerly winds, and almost all the models are agreeing with that, and the winds are going to be 20 knots as a mean wind. And you know the rules on models, if you can call rules with the word model in the same sentence, which are just ideas of what the weather is going to do. But the mean wind is going to be about 21, 22, 23, like that. Higher gusts, which is normal. So that's going to be not hard on the nose for you, but you'll be working to get in there. But at least the frontal band will have gone. Over.
Hopefully we get a little bit of west again, so that when those westerlies come, we can have them on the beam or even a little bit after the beam. Over.
Yep, that would be certainly good, and I'm hoping that Artia is listening for not arriving on Tuesday. It would be rather sporty, and certainly not worth fighting to get in on Tuesday rather than Wednesday. So, all right, we'll clear with Seeker and see where Artia is. Good evening to Artia. Are you on frequency, John? Over. Very good copy tonight. It's good without the static crashes. Go ahead.
Good evening. My position is 30 degrees, 32 south, 175 degrees, 58 east. My course 180 magnetic, speed 4. We've had westerly
right, copy that. Tomorrow, looking at about lunchtime, the wind appears to me to be a little bit north of west, maybe about 270 true. About 270 true. We're looking at about 12 to 15 knots. 12 to 15 knots as you track down toward New Zealand. Over.
Is that west or northwest?
Just slightly north.
Slightly north of west, actually. Slightly north of west, which will be a bit more helpful. Over.
Yeah, thank you, that's good. We have reasonably west of the run line. If the winds are north or west, that'll make it even easier.
Yeah, roger that. So just stand by, the other person on frequency. We've got a bit of doubling going on here. Just stand by. We're talking to our who are at 3032 17558 East. They were the first one that left the gaggle of boats at Minerva. 180 magnetic at 4 knots with mostly westerly 10 to 12 all day, but it's dropping off at the moment, west-southwest at 7, and all's well on board. I hope the readback was correct, and yes, it doesn't sound too bad for the next 24 hours. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Over.
Yes, thank you. The next 24 hours sound good. We're expecting a wet Tuesday, but I'd expect to be in Vancouver late Tuesday or early Wednesday.
Yeah, I wouldn't rush to get there on Tuesday. That system, as David mentioned, is moving quickly, and it's pretty sporty in that system. It's looking, the 25-30 knots of wind. It's a good direction, but it would be pretty snarly. So don't rush it. And Wednesday looks an awful lot better. I wish we could postpone what we're doing for Wednesday. All right, we'll talk again tomorrow, John. Have a good night. Over.
Thank you very much. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, is there anybody else for Gulf Harbour Radio? Please call. Yes, Kalima, I do have you, and I missed your name last night because the conditions weren't very good, but go ahead. Over. Kalima, go ahead. Over. Well, Kalima, you are coming through very well. Does anybody else copy Kalima? They're obviously not copying us. Can I have your whiskey? Yeah, could you give them a call and tell them to go ahead and give me their position? I don't think they've got their receive working too well, though. Over.
Roger. Kalima, come. Kalima, copy Rubicon. Nothing, no problem, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Yes, I suspect they've either put something on that or turned the volume down or whatever, because they doubled with Artia before, so they're obviously not copying anything. Anyway, whilst you've got the microphone handy, what's the situation with Rubicon and Rewa? What are you deciding? Over.
Oh my God, sleepless nights. You know how it is. Trying to figure it all out. Looking at the chanting
analysis paralysis.
And trying to make it happen. So
Classic.
maybe tomorrow. I'm looking at this high that's coming through and thinking maybe later in the week is better. Any advice? Any thoughts?
Yeah. Take a pill for the paralysis analysis or analysis paralysis, whatever it's called. There are concrete pills to take for that disease.
We have that here in New
Yeah,
Zealand.
we have those here in New Zealand. I'm not sure whether you can get them in Fiji, but yeah, it's
Just go.
Just go. There's nothing horribly wrong. I mean, you've done this passage before, you and Elizabeth. There is nothing dramatic. We've got boats leaving right through till Wednesday hopefully. A couple of boats, one from Vanuatu, one from Fiji. There's just nothing dramatic. And if you don't get moving, you'll
growth on the bottom.
Yeah, you'll get growth on the bottom, and then they won't let you into the country. Over.
Yeah, roger that, yeah. And that's it. We just need to get moving and get going, and we'll feel good. It always feels good out there, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. And I should tell you that Matt and Elizabeth have developed this acronym called WWCD, which is what would chameleon do. And yeah, I think David said earlier on when he was looking at things over the next few days, he said we'd probably just get going and deal with it. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. You're not going to be, having 15 knots on the beam all the way, but then again, you're not going to have anything horrible. So, yeah.
At the moment.
At the moment, says he quickly. At the moment is to what he can see. So the sooner you go, the sooner you get here. Over.
Yeah, roger that. Yeah, absolutely with the boogeyman. It's there's no boogeyman out there for about 10 days, and that's great. We don't want that coming up on us, okay?
All right. Well, we'll keep them away. And I tell you what, though, if you would please bring some dry weather with you. I know Fiji doesn't excel at that at the moment, but actually Vanuatu looks as if that system has passed through. And once it passes through Fiji, it'll be decent to leave. So get thinking about it. All right, we'll clear with you both. And is there anybody else for Gulf Harbour Radio? Nothing heard, and I shall track Colima on the AIS, see where they are, and hopefully their radio will be receiving tomorrow. I'm not sure what's wrong there. All right, folks, have a very good evening, and we will be back again, obviously, tomorrow. Cheers, everybody. The frequency's yours.
Good trying to wait on.
Da, 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 da.